When you think of Jupiter, what's the first thing that comes to mind? For most of us, it's that giant, iconic red eye staring back at us. It's one of the most famous sights in the whole solar system, a huge, swirling storm that we've been watching for centuries. But here's the thing. For all that time, the Great Red Spot has kept its biggest secrets hidden from us. Well, until now.
So the question that's been bugging astronomers forever is what's really going on inside that thing? I mean, what's powering it, and just how deep does that massive storm actually go? Is it just a surface feature, or is there something more to it?
Okay, to really wrap your head around this, just picture it. This is a storm that is bigger than our entire planet. Seriously, you could just drop Earth right into it. The winds are screaming around at over 400 kilometers an hour, and it's been doing this for at least 150 years that we know of, and probably a whole lot longer than that.
So, before we dive into the really mind-blowing new stuff, let's take a quick look back. What did we actually know about this thing from watching it for centuries?
All right, so the fancy scientific term for it is an anticyclonic vortex. What does that mean? Well, basically, it's a massive, high-pressure storm. And because it's in Jupiter's southern hemisphere, it spins counterclockwise. Now think about hurricanes here on Earth. They lose their power when they hit land, right? Jupiter doesn't have a solid surface like that. There's nothing to slow this storm down, so it just keeps going.
And for a long, long time, we could only watch it from afar. We're talking about possible sightings way back in the 1600s. By the 1830s, we were keeping pretty good records of it. Then, the 1970s hit, and the Voyager missions gave us those first incredible close-up photos. Just breathtaking. But here's the catch. All of that was just looking at the top layer of clouds. The real breakthrough, the real game changer, was NASA's Juno spacecraft. It got there in 2016 with a very specific mission, to finally peer beneath the surface.
And this is where things get really exciting. Let's talk about what Juno found when it journeyed into the heart of this thing. So for decades, this was the big debate among scientists. Was this storm just shallow? Like a thin layer floating on top of the atmosphere? Kind of like a film of oil on water? Or was it a monster with deep, powerful roots reaching way down into the planet? Nobody had a clue.
And then, Juno gave us the answer. It used this amazing instrument, a microwave radiometer, to basically see right through the clouds, and what it found was stunning. The Great Red Spot is not shallow, not even close. It has roots that plunge an unbelievable 300 to 500 kilometers deep into Jupiter's atmosphere. Just wow.
Okay, let's try to put that number in perspective, because it's hard to grasp. The average depth of the oceans here on Earth, it's about 4 kilometers. The Great Red Spot's roots are up to 500 kilometers deep. That is more than 100 times deeper than our deepest oceans. It's an abyss in the sky. The scale is just mind-boggling.
So a discovery like that just immediately makes you ask, right? How on earth can a storm that deep keep going for so long? Well, the answer isn't in the clouds. It's way, way deeper inside the planet. We're talking about Jupiter's own internal engine.
It's all about heat rising up from Jupiter's core. The best way to think about it is like a giant pot of boiling water on the stove. You've got hot gas rising up from way down inside the planet, and that's what's feeding the storm from the bottom. Then, when that gas gets to the top, it cools off and sinks back down around the edges. This whole cycle, up, cool, down, repeat, that's called convection, and that is the perpetual engine that keeps this monster storm running.
And Juno didn't just tell us about the depth, it gave us a peek at the chemistry inside too. Now we know Jupiter is mostly hydrogen and helium, but the clouds we can actually see? That's ammonia ice. Go deeper and you hit layers of other stuff like ammonium hydrosulfide and even water ice. And here's the clincher. It's warmer at the bottom of the storm than it is at the freezing cold top. That's the smoking gun, confirming that heat is absolutely rising up from below.
But even with all this incredible data from Juno, the Great Red Spot hasn't given up all its secrets, not by a long shot. There's still some really big mysteries left to solve.
Like, why is it red? Seriously. We still don't know for sure. The best guesses are that some chemicals, maybe sulfur or phosphorus, get dragged up from deep inside and then they get zapped by sunlight. It's kind of like a planetary scale sunburn. But the exact chemical, the specific molecule that's making that famous color, yeah, that's still a complete mystery.
And here's a weird twist in the story. Even though we now know the storm is incredibly deep, we've also been watching it get smaller on the surface.
Back in the 70s, when Voyager flew by, it was about twice as wide as our planet. Now, it's down to about 1.3 times the width of Earth. So what does that tell us? It tells us that even with these deep, powerful roots, it's still changing, still evolving. It's not static at all.
So you might be thinking, okay, this is all cool, but why does a storm on another planet really matter? Well, it's because this thing is way more than just a weather pattern. It's like a perfect natural laboratory for figuring out how planets, well, how they work everywhere in the universe. Think about it. By studying this storm, scientists can test their ideas about how fluids and gases move, but on a scale you could never replicate in a lab. It gives us huge clues about what the atmospheres might be like on those giant exoplanets we're finding around other stars. And maybe the wildest part? Understanding the physics of this alien storm can actually help us understand extreme weather systems right here on our own planet. It's a masterclass in planetary science. When you really think about it, the Great Red Spot is just this incredible reminder that our own solar system is still packed with surprises. It's this place where a storm bigger than our entire world can just churn away for hundreds of years, all powered by the hidden furnace inside a planet. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other amazing, beautiful mysteries are still out there in our own backyard, just waiting for us to find them?